Greetings, I'm Caffeine Rage, and welcome back to the Sunday Sampler. This week we're going to be taking a quick look at Domina. This is a Ludus management slash fighting game, well, depending on how you play it. And this is a self-published title by DolphinBarn games, well, DolphinBarn. And as usual, this is a review copy, and this is most likely the most decisive or divisive game I've done on the Sunday Sampler, unless you count visual novels, because that can be divisive on its own. So, where to start? Because a lot of the negativity about this game is about a feature that's lacking. So let's just go ahead, we'll start up a new game, and we'll talk a little bit about the game functions and how it plays. Then we'll start to break things down. So, new game. This does have Twitch. Well, let's go into the options real quick. This does have a Twitch function in it, which is done really, really well. It makes it so that the chat has to cheer or boo the different gladiators, and they also decide the fate on gladiators that surrender. And it fits the theme very, very well. That is something that I wanted to applaud them for. That is done really well. And I am going to be playing this on mild difficulty with, I'm going to be playing on essentially management style, so I won't be controlling the gladiators themselves because I have enough trouble talking and playing this game already. I don't need to add to it. So let's just go ahead and dive into a new game. Okay, so this is essentially the backstory and really the only story to it. Well, until the very, very end, but I'm not going to spoil that. Essentially, a Ludus comes under your control, and you have about a year to, to get it ready for the final battle. I'm just gonna, I'm in the marketplace mostly to stop the timer, because this is almost an idle or a clicker game where there's a lot to keep track of at once. And because of that, the clock is always moving, and it is very tough if you're not used to the style game or know exactly what you want to do to just get overwhelmed or have, lose track of something and lose out on some potential power because, we'll just look at the employees. Let's say your educator isn't learning or picking up a new power-up, essentially, a new function on them. Or you let your architect stop building, for example. It can be a little bit frustrating if you're not used to watching for that. And the game does an okay job of displaying when people are busy, but there are a couple times that the different progress bars are hidden behind some of the scenery, and that could be a little frustrating to find out, because I built upgrades for my gladiators, I'm not able to see the progress bar as clearly, so it's one of those little things. Other than that, I do like the art style. These are done exceptionally well. It's a very simplistic style, but especially once we get into the gladiatorial fights, you'll see just how pretty and gruesome the fighting can be. So let's just go ahead and pick up and we'll go with the Holy Man, the Architect, and let's go with the Educator. And this is something that I like, is that the game makes it so that you have to choose. You could only have 3 of these guys, but it also supports different play styles. So if you want your guys to get a lot of free upgrades, you can get the blacksmith on top of the Holy Man to make it so that you're getting upgrades on 2 fronts, or your medicus can heal faster than the Holy Man, or the agent allows you to get essentially dirty secrets on the legate and the magistrate, which are essentially the 2 of the major sponsors of the games, and they control the amount of money you get and just how fair the fights are, which we'll go ahead go into this, just because, like I said, I have to go into these different menus to essentially pause the timer. This is important. Enable automatic gladiator training. If you don't click this, you're going to have to click on every single gladiator, and you could get a lot of gladiators at once. It could be a little frustrating if you don't have that on. So we'll just go ahead and click that, and then this is your upgrade. So at each spot where the gladiator stands is essentially an upgradable spot for the palace, the stones, and the hot coal pit. So you'll be spending a lot of time building those, and you could also build a grain shelter, water well to increase your funds and your food supply and your water supply, which is used to feed both your employees and your slaves, your gladiators. And I didn't talk about the other two. Wine is essentially, think of it as kind of the lubricant for ancient Rome. It's used for a lot of things. It's used to improve the morale of your slaves, your gladiators. The term is interchangeable because they're both. But improves their morale, which also improves their stats slightly. You can use it to bribe the legate or the magistrate to improve their standing with you, or your standing with them, I should say, so that you get better matches. You could use it to buy certain upgrades, not all of them. I mean, let's see if they're like the wine cellar requires 15 wine for some reason, or the private gladiator quarters requires 30 gold coins, 20 days, 15 wine, 15 water, and 15 food. So you can see some of these require wine, not all of them, but some of them. So it's more of an extra thing for some things. So we'll just go ahead and have him build a palace. We'll get him working to... let's get that railway. And the educator allows for a few different things. Allows them, so whenever they surrender or they lose, they don't lose morale. You get to have them improve their speed of training, which I'm going to do. And let's go into the gladiators. This is your gladiatorial screen. This is one that already has a class. Then you have the untrained ones. The untrained ones could go into 1 of 3 classes. Unfortunately, you only start with one, and you have to train and learn the others through the tech tree, which is actually pretty far down. The Mamilla takes a while to get in. The Rutanios, I've only gotten through events because it is very far in, and it's one of those things that I have to focus on getting to it because I'm not good enough at the game just yet. I've only put about 5, maybe 6 hours in the game, which is only 3-4 playthroughs, and I haven't beaten the game yet. But you have the different stats: agility, weapon, defense, strength, and meditate. Meditate is a lot more important than you may think. This is your AI skill, which is a little bit of a bad name for it because it's a little bit of a theme break compared to everything else. This is how well the gladiator controls when you're not controlling it directly through the mind control tech tree, or mind control thing through the tech tree. Which you may think, well, that's not important. Kinda is, because it's very common to see matches that are more than one-on-one, and you can only control one gladiator at a time. And the fights are very fast, so it's one of those things that your gladiators have to be able to deal with things themselves. So you kind of want to bump that up to begin with, at least for a while. That's the thing, is that a smart gladiator that's weak is still a weak gladiator. And then you have evasive, turtle, aggro, and stamina. Which stamina doesn't have a tooltip for some reason. But this just tells you how, well, the gladiators high in this trait will evade their opponent's strikes rather than block them. It gives you an idea of how the gladiator will fight. So this one is going to be very aggressive. He may deflect some attacks more than he'll evade. So he may be good for this class. He may not. That's the thing, is that there's not a lot of information on, particularly on what the classes favor. is a Mamilla one that can handle a two-hander or dual wield? What is his more ideal thing? Does he want to be a more aggressive fighter? Does he want to be a more agile fighter? And for me, I prefer a management game with a lot more information than this, but that's really down to personal preference. So let's just go ahead and equip this guy. We can put him a basic chest piece, a leather cock sheath. No, we need a black leather studded cock sheath, obviously. Give him some leg guards, match them. Give him some shoulder armor and a helmet. There we go. And he'll start meditating. And we have a battle coming up in 1 day. And there we go. This is our pre-battle screen. It shows us just who is sponsoring the fight. Our standing with them. Like I said, the better standing we are with them, the more favorable the fight will be towards us. Victory rewards. Participation cost, in this case none, but sometimes there is. Surrender, if that's allowed or not. Don't have mind control research, so I can't control directly. Shows my opponent. No obstacles this time. Sometimes you'll have your gladiators be changed. Sometimes the enemies will be changed. Sometimes it will be an unfair fight. You have to pay attention to this screen in particularly. They will not warn you. You do not have your entire roster selected. You do not. This is an unfair fight. You have to pay particular attention. So let's just go ahead and grab that, and we'll throw him into the arena. This is the arena screen. And right now, let's just kick back, relax, and watch the carnage. Bleed on. And the game does a good job of, for such simplistic graphics, to really show just how brutal the fighting is. And we are kind of losing. Actually, very losing. Especially since we lost our shield, and there we go. We lost. Defeat. We lose our slave, our gladiator, and we don't even get a participation fee. So we'll just try to carry on, really. Give him a gladius and hope the next guy's better. And that's the thing, is that it is very, very easy to lose a guy that is somewhat well equipped. And probably why we don't have a save function is that it's going to be very simple to, or very tempting to save scum. And that's probably what the developer intended, is to not have that save scum ability. Granted, it's very hard to tell because the Steam forums are just so flooded with complaints about the lack of a save system. Rightfully so, I should say. The playthrough of this takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's one of those things that you have to set aside a fair amount of time. And I found myself, while I've been playtesting this and getting used to the game, wanting to go play it, but I don't really have 2 hours to go dedicated to it. I would like to pick it up for a little bit, do a few matches, and then put it back down, but I can't. As of right now, they do have a rudimentary save system if the game crashes, but I'm not sure when that triggers, if it's on game exit or not, and I don't really want to push that. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. That's the big bugbear a lot of people have. My big problem with it is the fact that it doesn't tell you a lot. Like, how often do these trigger? I have no idea. Is it better to have certain combinations? They don't give you a lot of information. It requires a lot of trial and error, almost a roguelite-esque. Just trying different combinations, seeing how things play out, and then making adjustments, which is for good or ill. It really depends on just how you feel about these games. So we'll grab the healing ability just because. Oh, and we didn't go to this. Oh, I should probably hand that out. This is essentially extra bonuses. These could be very powerful, but also have detriments to them if you're not careful. So let's see. Let's just grab. occasionally upgrade the weapon. Excellent. And we'll have him gather some stones. And this is what I was talking about, is that there's a lot of plates to spin. And if you're not careful, you could start running out of food and water, and your money gets low, and you find everyone starving and they're pissed off about it. And it's not a sit down and relax management game. Granted, managing a Ludus and watching a bunch of gladiatorial fights probably isn't supposed to be relaxing, but that's the thing. Okay, we'll grab that. Okay, he has weapon level 4. That was just a bonus ability he got. We need to give him a shield. There we go. Okay, we have someone with agility level 3, attack level 1. He has 11 AI skill, and he is kind of a balanced guy. So let's go with a more aggressive guy. And this is the thing, is that, it's really just sitting back and watching these fights. Granted, you can take part in on your own, but it's for me, I prefer just to sit back and watch these fights. Maybe that says something about me. Oh, he surrendered, so we won rather handily, I might add. I really would love to know why these kind of glitch out here. But then again, this is a single-person development team, so there's a lot of focus for. He has to put out the big fires, so these little cosmetic bugs, and I have seen a couple of them. Oh, we got a couple of new guys. He has bigger fish to fry, essentially. So let's just grab a little bit more food and water, and we'll grab a little bit more wine. We'll take him off meditative training. We'll make him a little bit more agile and a little bit more strong. And I hate the scrolling thing. You click and scroll. It's great for when you're grabbing the magistrate and the legate, just because that's you usually want to give them a large amount at once to boost their attitude towards you. But here you only want to give them a couple to boost them up to happy and give them a couple more stat points. But it's very hard to do that unless you're very precise, or you just click the arrow key a few times. So we have just a few days till the next match. And we'll grab Gladiator Strength upgrade, which will upgrade or get trained before too long. And well, this is really the game, to be perfectly honest. We do have this section as well. In order to get the final battle, you have to defeat at least 3 regional champions to be considered for the final championship in Rome. This has to be done before the day counter reaches 0. These take time. 8 days here, 9 days there, 13 days there. And some of these are even longer. And they unlock after other championships are done. I'm not sure why you would want to do more than 3. But these also give a fair amount of rewards. So if you have a particularly strong gladiator, it's not a bad idea to do more than 1, I guess, or more than the 3 that you need. But this is more kind of a gear check almost, or a gladiator check for the final battle, which let's talk about that for just a moment. It is following in the lines of almost FTL, where there's a huge difficulty spike for the final battle. Granted, these guys are not easy. I mean, this guy has 500 health. Well, I'll just reject the terms. Thankfully, it's free to look at them. Oh, that's the one. Oh, that one is 550, and he uses a really wicked two-hander. And you can see his stats. He has a 25 in agility and 25 in attack. Basically, he could two-shot someone if he's gets a hold of him. But right now, I'd get 243 gold, 23 foods, 6 water, 12 wine, and 2 slaves. And this is randomized a bit, so sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. On top of the difficulty spike, there's also another, I hate using the term gotcha moment, but that's really what it feels like. Where it almost breaks the theme of the game. And I don't want to give away the ending because it is that twist. It is that it does kind of fit, but how the developer handles it and the gameplay mechanic doesn't fit. It's that one of those weird things, really, where in order to be able to succeed, you either have to be exceptionally good, or you're breaking the theme of the game and doing something that you really wouldn't in this situation. And that felt really, really odd, to be perfectly honest. So let's just... Is there really anything else to talk about? The combat feels great. The art style... Yes, it is simplistic pixel art. This has been done numerous times. But it shows the brutality of the fights without being essentially overly graphic, for lack of a better term. The soundtrack is damn amazing. I absolutely love the soundtrack. Don't really care for the fact that things are a little too obfuscated for me, but it may be that the game is leaning a little bit more into the roguelite genre with the random events, which we haven't even hit yet. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. They are essentially random, hence the term. And the difficulty spike at the end is really... It puts me off more than the lack of the save system. I guess because I could sit down and I could play this for 2 hours, or play it for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's where it really bugs me more than the save system, which is really strange because I would be the type of guy that is absolutely batty by the lack of the save system. Let's just go ahead and throw in someone so we're actually having some interesting on the screen. And I don't know why I'm paying attention to this. We should be okay. I guess. I mean, that's the thing, is that sometimes these matches go in a completely different way. Weird. Oh, we got him. We got him to surrender. Excellent. It's very easy to get caught up in these matches. That's the thing I absolutely love, is that the matches are fun to watch over and over and over again, especially whenever some of the more unfair matches or some of the more clusterfucky matches happen, where it is several gladiators on every side, or when the lines come out, because come on, this is ancient Rome. Of course the lines are going to be in the gladiatorial arenas. Sometimes they're on your side, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're on the obstacles. And yeah, if someone rolls into the corner with the line, they're going to have a bad day. But it's that random element. Yes, the randomness can dick you over. Yes, the events can dick you over. But it still makes it interesting. And it's more about your skill as a manager to deal with them. Which, may be good for some people, may not. This is a very, very niche title. And I think the controversy about the save system is putting off some people that would really enjoy this otherwise. And I do hope that the developer looks into having that save system come in before too long and catching essentially the ride, because yeah, it's a fun game. I've been enjoying this. I mean, I've played this for 5-6 hours now. And I still may play some more of this. Oh, but yeah, I think that about wraps us up. As we'll just dig a hot cold pit to speed up some more training. And I need to kind of tear myself away from this. And this is what I was talking about. Granted, I do have the downside of chattering away, but I've been lacking attention to the educator who needs to go for that. Oh, we need some more water. Oh, and I guess I should show the pit fights as well. Pit fights are more dangerous because you don't know exactly what you're coming up against. Granted, sometimes you start noticing names and you could pick out, okay, this guy I don't want to tangle with. We'll just throw in a guy. And also the pit fights are a lot smaller arenas, so it's more intimate. Fight! Yeah, he's a lot more agile. Oh. And a gift from the crowd, and we won rather handily again. And that, I think, is going to wrap us up. Oh, here's a random event. Okay, a distant cousin visits to return a sizable loan that was granted your father. The loan plus interest comes to the 28 counts. Accept the free money or graciously inform that the loan has been forgiven and celebrate his arrival with a party. And if this was a Twitch stream, you'd be able to have the people vote for this. And also, if your gladiators surrender, I didn't mention that because we haven't had that happen yet. If they surrender, if it's a Twitch stream, it's the chat that decides if they live or die. Or for a single player, it's just hammering the space bar / mouse button to try to get them to survive. Well, accept the loan or the repayment. Cha-ching. And really just, I mean, this is the game. It's very Idler-esque, it's very Clicker-esque, but it's not bad. Oh, you got a double level up on that. And we'll just continue through. But I think we've about showed this as well as we can. We'll just stay on this screen because there should be testament to this. I'm trying to wrap up, but I'm getting drawn in by the more gladiator fights. As always, constructive feedback is greatly appreciated, especially on the Sunday Sampler, because it will dictate a bit on what I cover in these. And subscriptions are also greatly appreciated because, once again, the Sunday Sampler gets review copies, and bigger channels get a bigger selection of review copies, which allows me to pick and choose a little bit more. But, yeah, I've been enjoying this. Domina is surprisingly good, and I probably would have... I'm going to admit, I probably would have been a bit put off by the controversy of the save system, and I'm glad that I got to try it. If you don't have any constructive feedback, but want to let me know that you've enjoyed or hated this, or want to see my gladiators die brutally, hit the appropriate thumbs up or thumbs down buttons. Thank you for watching, and we'll be doing a quick look of something next week. Most likely. I mean, let's be perfectly honest, that's what the Sunday Sampler's turned into. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you.